listening to Mechanical Music Radio. We were very saddened today to hear of the passing of Roger Burville, enthusiast, organ owner and dear friend to so many people in this hobby. Roger's lifelong fascination with mechanical music began in the late 1950s, sparked by Forrest Scavioli, and there he was introduced to David Barlow, and his association with the Kluisberg Mortier began. In his ownership for many years, Roger toured this 101-key dance organ to events all over the country. And this hour, we share with you music of Mortier Organ De Kluisberg, recorded while in Roger's ownership. And also, throughout the hour, you'll hear Roger telling a few stories from those days. We'll start with Trumpet Voluntary. Light of Foot March and Trumpet Voluntary. We're playing a special hour of music from Mortier Organ De Kluisberg, recorded while under the ownership of Roger Burville. And throughout the hour, you'll hear Roger in conversation with me, something that we recorded a couple of years ago now when it was marked 60 years of Roger's association with the Kluisberg Mortier. You'll hear the story in his own words after In the Mystic Land of Egypt.
Well, it all began with the Forrest family and the Walls family, and they had the friend David Barlow that used to love to drive the showman's engines, and quite literally the roller would take him to the fairground, leave him there all day, pick him up in the evening and take him home again. And they became great friends with him, and they said, he's getting this very large organ, would you help him with it? Well, it was Dave Hopper and his wife Edith and myself, and we said, yeah, but he might not like us. Anyway, we were duly introduced to him, and we got on very, very well. He became like a favourite uncle to me, and it just went on from there. We helped him. We collected a lot of money. One of his favourite charities was cancer research, and that's what we done most of the time. But we done other charities as well, including the Mayor of Canterbury's Christmas Gift Fund, all sorts of different things, guide dogs for the blind, local charities, but we like to keep it to local charities if possible.
This is Mechanical Music Radio.
Your Lovely Eyes, Mortier Organ De Kluisberg. If you're just tuning in, a special tribute programme to Roger Burville this evening here at Mechanical Music Radio. Thank you for all the messages that are coming in from around the world. Roger Wiegand in the US says, very sad to hear this. Condolences to his family and friends. We were pleased to be able to spend an afternoon with him a couple of years ago. A wonderful fellow, lots of stories and history. And Roger says, De Kluisberg was the first big European organ I ever saw. I was bowled over as I walked through the gates at the fair at Stouerpane for the first time and saw a 101 key Mortier built up. More stories from the man himself, a chat that we recorded with Roger Burville a couple of years ago, and we'll continue the story after the Argentina Samba. It was the Kluisberg Mortier was one of the very few examples of a 101 key dance organ that was built up on the back of a mobile trailer. It's the sort of sight that you wouldn't see anywhere in the world.
No, well, it was the size of a double-decker bus when it was in its road condition, and then there was another 6 feet that built on the top of that when you got the full proscenium up.
I bet taking it out was like a military operation. You must have had to think of everything.
Oh, yes, you did. You know, you had all your things to get to various places, plus food, etc., for the crew. You got to feed the brutes. And No, it was quite a logistics sort of thing. You know, you had to get it all right, everything out, and then everything back home again afterwards, which was just as important.
This is Mechanical Music Radio.
when the organ was in Britain, obviously it caused quite a coup in the preservation movement, because there'd really been nothing like that up to that point on display on the rally field. A number of English music arrangers wanted to have a go at arranging.
Yes. Peter Craig done some for us. We was on the South Bank, and all of a sudden it started playing Under the Bridges of Paris. So I said, it can't be playing that, we haven't got it. Went round the back, and there was Peter Craig with a great big grin on his face. Up in the back there, he'd done Under the Bridges of Paris for the French Film Festival.
Was there ever a moment when you were out with the organ and you thought, what am I doing? This is so much responsibility, and because so much can go wrong when you're exhibiting on a rally field, can't it?
It never particularly worried me. We just done it and that was it. As I say, I had a good team of helpers, couldn't have done without them, and they were marvellous.
What were some of your favourite arrangements on the organ?
Well, the Rasenberg arrangements were particularly good. Yeah, Perley sent those over with the organ, and his arrangements were extremely good. One in particular was Bonacera, and it sort of started off slowly, and then it was like old auntie that lifts up her skirts and away she goes. It was really good.
This is Mechanical Music Radio.
You're listening to Mechanical Music Radio. This hour, a special tribute to Roger Burville, who will be much missed by so many people. Peter Craig says his kindness, informality and ability to laugh in the worst situations brought joy to so many and forged lifelong friendships across the organ world in the UK and abroad. He will be greatly missed. Ben Jackson says, rest in peace, Roger. I can remember seeing the Mortier Organ De Kluisberg at the Great Dorset Steam Fair under Roger's ownership, proudly presented. And Paul Vogers in the Netherlands says, we lost a very dear and kind friend. He will be missed very much. More tributes coming up. And you will continue to hear the story in his own words, a recording that we made with Roger a couple of years ago of his association of the Kluisberg spanning more than 60 years. And that continues after Never on Sunday. Just take us back to how it came to be that a Mortier dance organ of this scale came to England and started being travelling around. When was the time that David Barlow saw the Kluisberg Mortier?
Well, he saw it in the early 1960s and he actually bought it over in 1962 and set it up at Wingham Engineering Works. And I first saw it on Good Friday, 1962. And it was this huge, great thing standing there on the workshop floor. You couldn't believe it. Anyway, he said, we better not play it too much because we don't want to upset the vicar. Good Friday was a lot different in those days. Nothing happened. No shops open, nothing on a Good Friday. Anyway, we never did upset the vicar and that, and he became quite keen after a while.
And then at Wingham Engineering Works, there were, was it weekly organ recitals that happened?
Monthly. Through the winter, through the winter months, yeah. Some of the workmen there used to complain about it, all this work clearing up and everything like that. And David Barlow said, yes, it's the only time it does get cleaned up.
Because obviously it was a working well, it's now an industrial estate, still a working
industrial
site.
estate,
The building is still there.
Yeah.
Half of it taken up by a mechanics garage now. But quite amazing to think that site was a big part of the preservation movement 60 years ago.
It was, yeah, because they had steam engines, agricultural steam engines as well, and they used to take those out. They ran a fleet of steam lorries as well. Yeah, and where we kept the Mortier was called the Sentinel Shed. Mm. And there was a whole row of them, all the way along.
The one-note samba on Mortier Organ De Kluisberg. Thank you so much for all the tributes to Roger that we've had in. And Neil Scully says, rest in peace, Roger. My condolences to David and Jennifer, son and daughter. Carl Plasto says, only met Roger at Dorset once in the 90s. Had a brief chat. Very approachable gentleman. Condolences to all family and friends. And Bob Darby says his legacy lives on. He will be much missed. Roger has been president and founder member of the Mechanical Organ Owners Society, who celebrate their 50th year. And I know Roger was, quite touched by how the society is really thriving, particularly at the minute. So that is wonderful. And you've been hearing throughout the hour the story of Roger presenting Mortier Organ De Kluisberg, no mean feat, doing a stage show at the Great Dorset Steam Fair with the Pauline Reader Dancers. I was compere for a few years on that. We used to have fun with the Christmas show at midnight, and Roger would feed a crew of, between 15 odd, 17 odd, and how he would cook some of the meals he did for that many people in his caravan. No one quite knew, but he did. With a smile on his face, and he loved the social occasion of events like the Great Dorset Steam Fair. You'll hear more of Roger telling it in his own words in just a moment, after a lively, fun arrangement, and I know he enjoyed this one. Old MacDonald had a farm on Mortier Organ De Kluisberg. It was 60 years ago you first saw the Kluisberg, Roger, and it wasn't long after that something very tragic happened to David.
He loved motorcycles, and he said what was going to happen to the organ in the event of his death, and I asked him to leave it to anybody apart from me, and he said, no, no, no. He said, you're the only one that will carry it on. Anyway, of course, when he was tragically killed on his motorbike, he left the organ to me, and I carried on. I didn't want to go near it at first, obviously, you know, because we'd lost our friend. But I knew that's what he wanted, and we did carry on. And I had a good team of helpers. It was no one-man band. I mean, to say I had a good team behind me, and that, you know, and they all used to work together.
Roger Burville, in conversation with me a couple of years ago. He'll be much missed by so many friends around the world, and someone who truly has left his mark on the preservation scene. God bless you, Roger. And our deepest condolences go to his son David and daughter Jennifer at this very difficult time. Roger, till we see you again.